Hey, T. Welcome to the Toast Studios. Let us show you how the sausage gets made. Come on into my crib.
Good morning, millennials.
Like taking money from a woman? Ew.
The Toast is the millennial morning show.
But it's for everyone.
We do a daily podcast. It's about an hour or more every single day. We talk about entertainment news. We talk about our personal lives. We pretty much talk about everything under the sun. We do the Fast 5 stories that you may or may not need to know. And then we just go on and on.
Just go off.
Go off and on.
Sometimes we go off the rails. Girly, whirly, swirly, turly, whirly, girly. We're obsessed with a lot of things. We go through trends and fads, like certain people we can't stop talking about for months on end. Then we'll never talk about them again. It's just, you know, whatever the way the tides take us is what we're going to be talking about that day. I just love Gwyneth. Like, unrelatable, inaccessible, rich, out of touch, and I want nothing else but that. All right, come on, it's not big. Don't be shy. This is where the magic happens. 2 chairs made of boucle, the finest fabric in France, via Dallas. And this is where we do our show. I would say these chairs on a scale from 1 to 10 are about a level 3 in comfort. They might give you a hemorrhoid, but if the podcast comes out good, who really cares?
It's worth it.
It's worth it.
Then we have our iconic palm leaf design. We put it everywhere we need to add a print.
This is all of our equipment. Very expensive, very hard to find, very professional, because we're extremely professional. We've got our Rodecaster, we've got a couple of cameras, a ring light when I make my thirsty TikToks. Make sure to follow me on TikTok at Girl With No Job.
Remember the 28th night of September.
We have our sides that have never wavered.
Yeah, I sit on the left side because at one point in my life I had a mole on the right side of my face and I didn't want anyone to see it. And the mole has since been removed, but I still stay on that side to stand in solidarity with the mole that I once had removed.
And then anytime we're hanging out or standing next to one another, I'm always on the right, she's always on the left, except for right now. It feels weird. Better.
Now, if you'll follow us this way, this is a couch that I lay on sometimes when I'm uploading the episode because, like I said, you'll get a hemorrhoid from that chair. I lay vertically under this beautiful portrait that just showed up here one day. I don't know where it's from or who it's from, and it's a little frightening that it was just dropped off at the door. But honestly, it was so impressive. This is the cover of my book that I decided we hang it.
This is a life-size pillow of my dog, Bruno, because when Claudia and I do our remote episodes, I have a pillow of her dog. She has one of my dogs, so that we could always be together.
This is Mummy's love, Mummy's angel.
Mom's king, Mom's angel, Bruno. Mama loves you.
Say hi.
Hi, Bruno. Show things start about 9 a.m. because we do our hair and makeup. We do on camera every day, even though we're a podcast. We also do video. So starting at 9, hair, makeup, hybrid of choosing the stories, getting ready, chatting to Claude if there's anything we want to talk about before the show. And then it really revs up around 10 where we're like seated and finalizing stories. We get on video call together, make sure that we're all set up. And we usually go live with recording at 10:30.
Yeah, it's a quick one and done, you know? Our episodes, we try and get them up as early as possible, but they're usually up every day by noon Eastern time.
I think people would be really surprised at how off the cuff it is. I think people might expect that it's more produced or written,
Scripted.
than it actually is. But we do the show just as if we're sitting on my couch talking, and even sometimes we'll be on FaceTime and it feels like we're doing an episode of The Toast because that's just how we are. So it really is just so organic and off the cuff.
I also think a lot of people would be surprised, and you said it on our episode today, and you said you were surprised that it's just one take. Today's episode was 50 minutes. It's usually between 50 and 90 minutes, and most of the time we don't cut things out. Sometimes you make a joke, it doesn't land, it's not worth putting it out, you cut that out, but it's really a live take. Our show used to be live on YouTube and on Facebook Live back in those days, and we keep up that energy. So it's really like a live recording. I think a lot of people are surprised how little editing there is. I think people expect us to have like a video editor, someone who manages all the distribution. We edit our episodes, we upload our episodes, we put all the content out on our social media. Like, it's us doing it all. And that's just very much our energy, self-starter energy. We like to have an entrepreneurial spirit here at Toast News Network.
Josh Peck, I'm famous as Frick.
You're famous as Frick.
From Josh Peck to Portia Williams, the Oshry sisters love spicing up the Toast original recipe with surprise guests. But they're definitely not shy about who they wouldn't invite back.
Scott Rogowski.
Scott Rogowski. That guy thought he was such hot excuse me, when he was famous for 5 minutes on HQ. Remember that app where we all did trivia at 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock? He came on the show at the peak. It's so interesting how people act like right when they, get a little bit of fame and success. He could not have been ruder to us. I think he thought we were like stupid and short. And he was like, are you guys like really nervous to be meeting me? He's my nemesis. And I don't even think he knows it.
But more often than not, everyone who comes through here is so nice and down for whatever. We have fun on this show. It's not your typical interview show. We're going to ask some oddball questions, see where the conversation takes us, and everyone really rolls with it and has a good time.
You know who I loved? Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank. He brought us so many gifts. He wore the craziest outfit, and he's like actually a really smart person, but also a really nice person and not diva.
Yeah, we did a wine tasting with him for his wines. I agree. That was one of the most fun guests we've ever had. He was so impressed with our business, which meant so much to us because we are obsessed with Shark Tank, and everything we think we know about business, we learned from Shark Tank.
True.
So that was a very cool guest for us.
It's actually a real privilege to just get to meet people who you think one thing of, you see on TV, and then you meet them in real life and you realize how normal they are and how nice they are. Everyone is, for the most part, incredibly nice.
I think a great example of that is Jax Taylor.
Yeah, it's true. He's one of the nicest people I've ever met. And I feel like a lot of the people we love and admire already have podcasts. Keke Palmer, Kelly Clarkson, Daytime Queen. Someone who I really, really want to have on the show would be RuPaul. I think he would be an amazing podcaster.
When they're not podcasting, the sisters stay busy with their own individual projects. Claudia, as a stand-up comic, and Jackie, a mother of two, is now adding children's book author to her resume.
I wrote a children's book called The Camper and the Counselor, and the story started when we did our first event called Camp Toast.
Oh, yeah.
In 2018, we put on a camp weekend for our listeners because we're always talking about camp, and we wanted to show them what camp is like. And at that event, I came up with this kind of story in my head about my sister Margot being a camp counselor, and I would talk about it all the time, and I always thought it would be the perfect story for a children's book. But I didn't feel motivated to write a children's book until I was a mother. Like, what kind of books are best for newborns? What do I enjoy reading? What does my son like to hear? I knew very quickly that it had to be a rhyming book. The illustrations had to be colorful and engaging and enchanting. And over the last year and a half, I have put the story down onto paper, worked with an illustrator to bring it all to life, and that has been one of the coolest things. My son loves the book. You don't have to go to camp to read the book. You don't have to be a listener of our show to enjoy the book. It's not full of inside jokes. An inside joke was the inspiration, but it is for everyone. There's nothing in there that you wouldn't get or that might go over someone's head. Parents reading the book, it matters. You want to be into the book. You want to enjoy reading it and be able to syncopate while you're and make it into a song and all of those things because it makes it more engaging for the kids. So that was really important to me.
The winding camp roads give me goosebumps and chills.
We're here, I yell
As we pull into the drive, I've made it to camp. I'm so glad to arrive. I hope you like meatballs on top of spaghetti.
You better be hungry because dinner is ready. I hope you like meatballs on top of spaghetti.